are my skinny jeans from 2016. Now, I didn't throw these away in 2020 when everyone said skinny jeans are dead because I've seen this before. 2006, Catherine? All I need is a long lace tank to go with these, am I right? As someone who loves historical fashion and costumes, often in theater, where I need to have these skills, I have seen the trend cycle repeat again and again. Dropped waists were popular in the 20s, the 70s, and obviously the 2000s. So we'll be talking about the macro trends that are coming back, so you never panic, donate something you might want in the future. How to spot micro trends that fade super fast, and I will give you a checklist at the end of this video to ensure that you are making smarter purchasing decisions. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Going Zero Waste YouTube channel. I'm Catherine Kellogg. I do videos on sustainable living as well as critical commentary on consumer culture. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, please hit that big red subscribe button, ding the little bell, and you'll be notified when new videos are coming out. This might be really surprising, but I do enjoy trends. So you have micro trends and you have macro trends. Macro trends are going to move much slower, and you can see it in things like from the teens, where the silhouettes were much slimmer, and now we have a much more oversized silhouette. I really like the look of the oversized trench coat, so I went vintage shopping for an 80s trench coat and found an amazing one that fits the silhouette perfectly. And I got it so much cheaper. It was $20. It was secondhand Dior. I love this thing, 2 pieces. And I think that's one of the things that's so fun is that you can find more trendy pieces secondhand. But that means if you're starting to see the very beginning of this, you can hit up the secondhand stores and the vintage stores so you can snap it all up at a better quality and better price. Micro trends move much more quickly. Do you remember when charm necklaces and charm bracelets were super popular last year and now hardly anyone is even talking about them anymore? That's a pretty fast micro trend. Remember this House of Sunny dress that was everywhere for, 6 months? Checkerboard pattern? There are so many things that move rapidly through the trend cycle. This is the trend cycle. You have the introduction, and this used to be where designers who were releasing their collections twice a year, the spring and fall, would push certain ideas or themes that would then trickle down to the masses. Now we're starting to see a lot more creators and artists start a lot of the introduction of trends and then have brands respond to them in the rise cycle. Now, in the rise cycle, we also will see usually a lot of influencers and people heavily embedded in media culture start pushing these things. Then when you hit the peak, you're starting to find the trend pretty much everywhere, and you might start seeing it show up at thrift stores. On the decline, things are now becoming quote-unquote chuggy. They are all over the market in a way that it is just not that cool to be seen having that item anymore. And you will find tons of them at the thrift store. And while this is the most commonly used illustration, I prefer the circle because everything comes back around. In the 40s, broad shoulders and small waist with pencil skirts were very much in style. You saw this again in the 80s with shoulder pads and small waist. Now, the hemlines did get shorter, but there was a lot of reference there. The skinny jeans that had a ruthless takedown arc are now coming back into style. Maybe not yet, but in a few years, they will. And somehow, it always seems to happen that as soon as everyone gets rid of a certain item, it somehow starts to resurface. Several people have noticed this with different animal prints. Every summer, there is a new animal print that is trending. I know you remember this skirt from the 2000s, this classic leopard print skirt, which was considered one of the biggest chuggy, I hate that word, hallmarks of its time.
Okay, I don't know if this is too niche, but I just saw Kennedy's video and I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. I love her outfit. Leopard print is so trendy right now. And then I was like, wait, memory unlocked from 2019. Does anyone else remember this account? This is when the leopard print midi skirt was in its heyday and people would submit photos from all around. And this account would repost them. Are we reviving that account for the spring? Please tell me some of you guys remember that too and it wasn't just me.
It came back. It always comes back. I would argue that leopard and zebra can always kind of be a pretty classic print depending on how they are styled. And usually these are in style for 1 to 2 years before switching to a new animal. So if you have a print that you like, obviously wear it, but hold on to it. It'll be back. You'll be back like before and win the war. But here's the weird thing. It didn't really happen naturally. Our trend cycle has sped up so fast. When brands and designers used to be dropping 1 to 2 seasons a year, now you have places like Shein doing drops every single day, and most brands dropping new pieces every single week, creating these micro seasons, which is a great way to push what? Oh, micro trends. That's right. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, just don't buy into trends, which is a little easier said than done. You go to buy something, most of the options you're going to be presented with are the things that are on trend. Very few pieces are truly quote unquote timeless. And there's a whole nother layer to it. To me, it feels like the same argument of, well, just don't wear makeup. Okay, sure, that is an argument, and I understand the thoughts behind it, but it has been proven that women who do wear makeup get taken more seriously and get promoted more often. So I'm not sure it's just as simple as just opting out. So instead of demonizing the trend cycle, I think the better move is to examine how we can be smarter about it and how we can ensure the purchases we have are things that we're going to love, use, and keep. So I'm really curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Maybe it is just as simple as opting out. I don't know. You tell me. Everything is moving so much faster online because it has never been easier to buy. If you saw my Lazy Girl Swaps video, I talk a lot about adding friction between you and a purchase. That way, the laziest thing to do is to not buy anything at all. And is in fact one of the best ways I don't buy anything is I just don't go shopping. And it takes way too much effort to participate in that activity. But the algorithms that we have today, like TikTok and, well, Instagram to some degree, but especially TikTok, rewards novelty, and with their built-in shopping platform, it has never been easier to buy something. So essentially, create a product, get it on TikTok Shop, offer a huge commission, and then just get influencers to hawk and push it, and then it'll be absolutely saturated everywhere, and then everyone gets sick of seeing it, so then everyone calls it lame and not cool, and then everyone throws it out just in time for the cycle to start over. Fact is, when we see so many people we know online with the exact same products, it makes us really want them too. And there are several that I have almost fallen victim to. I think it was about 2 years ago. I was really wanting a pair of UGG minis. I had just seen them everywhere for so long that I had convinced myself that I wanted a pair. But you know what saved me? Was remembering the first time I saw the shoe. I thought they were hideous. And I realized I only wanted them because I had been seeing them everywhere. And if that was the reason I truly deep down wanted them, that was a bad, bad reason. Because when you hit that point, you know you are right past the peak of the trend. You're probably quite a bit past the peak, and you are heading straight into obsolescence. UGG minis have been around for so long. I would be truly shocked if UGG minis were still super popular by the end of this year. No way. Yeah, that makes sense. Also go through trend cycles with soles, going from thick soles to thin soles. So we've had really thick soles in style for a while now, and we're going to start moving towards thinner shoes. Why? Why are we doing this? I'll repeat this 100 times. That's how they make more money. They keep you in a spending cycle. We've also seen this trend play out in tennis shoes. We had the really thick dad sneaker, and now we moved to a much slimmer Samba. And the newest things are going to be sneakerinas, which are more ballet-inspired sneakers, and we'll probably go even thinner and more slim before circling back. And while I'm talking about clothing right now, because that's what I have more knowledge in, this applies to everything. Exercise equipment, home decor, home goods, and I will show you examples in every single category.
Trash, trash, trash. This is your sign to get rid of all of your Stanley.
We see this trend happening with water bottles. I'm going to take a sip from my water bottle right now. I made a really funny post. Well, I think it was hilarious. It was, how many months have you been with your partner? Months. And then it scrolls back years, and it was me with my Clean Canteen water bottle. Clean Canteen enjoyed that post, and they sent me their new Clean Canteen, which is in the shape of a Stanley cup. And while I do enjoy this, I don't know if I would buy this style of water bottle again with the gasket, because the gasket is really difficult to clean. But I do enjoy drinking out of it. I will say that. It is really nice that it fits in a cup holder, where my other water bottle did not fit in a cup holder. So again, pros and cons. But the Stanley was all the rage, and we have seen this happen time and time again. We had the Hydro Flask. Then we had the Swell bottle. After the Swell bottle, we had the Stanley. After the Stanley, we have the Owala. Before what? Probably we'll go back to something like a Nagleen or a Hydro Flask. And while these swaps are obviously sustainable, it is sustainable to have a reusable water bottle. Is it sustainable to have 15 water bottles? Is it sustainable to throw your water bottles out to upgrade to a new trend of water bottle? Now, I know the Owalas have a lot of those built-in straws, which are, guess what? Really difficult to clean, which makes them less practical to use, which means it is prime for someone to sell you a new product. Another trend that I almost fell victim to were the fluted glasses. I will say I still think these are stunning, but I think they're far less stunning because I've just seen them so much now that I'm just not interested in them. They feel dated. These glasses feel really, really dated to me. And so you really have to examine why you're buying something, because if there is a 10% chance that you are just buying it because it's trendy, there's a lot higher of a chance that you're going to want to throw it out because it is no longer popular. Or you're going to be using it and feel, oh, this feels really dated. This doesn't feel good. If you remember, the walking pad underneath the desk was a huge, huge trend. I know. I have one. This one, I guess I technically did fall for. And like most exercise equipment, it doesn't get used anywhere near as often as it should. I am not allowed to buy any more exercise equipment, okay? I'm not. We all have our faults. We all have problems. I have addressed one of mine. I do still use the walking pad, but I certainly will not be buying the new mini Pilates reformer, which to me feels just like the walking pad of the 2020s, early 2020s. There is always a new piece of exercise equipment to sell to you. And the fact is, most of it is not going to be used. So I do feel like this is a really tricky area, and buying things for my personal health is one of the areas that I'm a lot more relaxed with myself on, because I do try to prioritize my health and well-being. But when we truly think about the life cycle of these things and where they're going to end up at the end of their lives, because they're going to be incredibly difficult to replace and repair, that makes me feel like I've made some really, really poor decisions. Hopefully I've learned my lesson. I'm sorry. We see this a lot in home motifs as well. We had the Tuscan kitchens of the 2000s. Say hi to my mom. Say hi, Mom. Hi. She's hard at work making dinner tonight. And then we had the shiplap and the gray plank floors. And now we're leaning much more into the Nancy Meyers aesthetic, or a more traditional style home, which is my home decor. I've always really liked a lived-in home feel, which certainly comes from buying 98% of all your stuff secondhand. So I'm really, really interested to see how I feel about my home decor in 10 years when the more traditional style is really unpopular. And in my mind, I think I have really found what I truly like. And I had a lot of troubles with kind of designing the house a bit, and still do, because I keep asking myself, do I actually like this, or do I just think I like it because I've seen it everywhere online? Now, our house is quite old. It was built 200 years ago. And what I have tried to do is I have tried to honor the time period in which it was built and work with its character quirks and focus on colors that were popular at the time. Our sink in the kitchen is original to the house, which is really cool. And there are some really fun and interesting elements that we're trying to preserve and to feature and to highlight them. Because when we were living in San Francisco, we were renting, and I had a lot of my really old IKEA furniture. And now the pieces we have, like this beautiful record cabinet I have behind me, was my great-grandfather's. My grandmother sent me a U-box full of antique furniture from her house. And so a lot of these pieces also have stories. I am not inclined to throw this cabinet out. not just because I think it's beautiful right now, but because it also has a sentimental story attached with it. And that's one of the things I think that is really beautiful about buying secondhand and taking time to develop our style is also we have personal connections to the items we're using. It's lovely that so many secondhand pieces have stories attached to them. It's really cool that you can go out and get something vintage that is going to be popular right now, and you can probably do it cheaper and with better materials. One of the major ways that I combat falling into these traps is I keep things I like. You know that you really like this item. Buy it high quality, store it well, pack it away. I have mine in some plastic tubs. Everything's laundered, clean, put away. So when it rolls back around, I'll be able to fetch it out. This is because I hate buying things twice. I hate buying things twice. And it's one of the reasons why I'm very, very, very bad at donating or giving anything away. I just want to hoard everything, which means I just don't buy a lot. I just don't buy a lot so things don't get out of control, which is why I have 3 different styles of jeans. Right now, I'm wearing the wide leg a lot more often. Honestly, I have always loved wide leg pants. My favorite pair that I ever had was this pair from Kohl's when I was in high school. It was really sad when I outgrew them. This is your homework. If you want to participate in trends in a bit more of a sustainable way, you need to know where you are in the trend cycle so you can make a better and more informed decision. Because I promise if you are seeing something at the very end and you're just thinking that you really, really want it, at that point, you might as well just wait 6 more months because it's going to be in the thrift store. You can buy it cheaper and then you can hang on to it. If you're seeing a trend absolutely everywhere, you can find it at Target, you can find it on Amazon, you can find it in every single influencer's whatever shop. You have hurdled all the way over peak and you are sliding into the decline. If you didn't like something when you first saw it and you only like it now because you've been exposed to it for 2 to 3 years, you don't like that item and you probably shouldn't buy it. If you were seeing something new pop up, low-rise jeans, and it feels like you urgently need to buy something, it's probably heading towards peak. So take a little bit of time. I always recommend the 30-day rule where you wait and make sure it's something that you actually want, will love, and will use. And after all that time, if it's something that you still want, I would recommend checking the secondhand market first, especially if it is a micro trend. If it's a macro trend and you're predicting it's going to be around for the next 10 plus years, try and buy something that's well made. You can, of course, check the secondhand market or support a small sustainable designer so you can get a really good quality piece you're going to be proud to wear. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure that you subscribe. I'll have lots more videos like this coming out very soon. If you made it all the way to the end, please give it some hype points as it really helps my videos reach more people. And I will see you next week with a new video.